अदालतमा रिट दर्ता पनि भयो, धेरै ठाउँमा कुरा पनि उठ्यो, मानवाधिकार आयोगले पनि रेकमेन्डेसन गर्यो। त्यस पश्चात पनि यो ट्रेन्ड चाहिँ अहिले 2014 मा आइसक्दा पनि पूर्ण विराम लागेको छैन। खास गरेर हामीले हेर्ने हो भने
Ladies and gentlemen, how are you wanting to do the translation? Okay, fine. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ben Schonveld. I am the South Asia Director for the International Commission of Jurists. I guess I might start by saying I've been involved in Nepal for a lot longer than my time as the South Asia Director. And I guess I might start off by saying that this report is not an original production. It's not news. This has been happening for as long as I have been in Nepal, and this has been happening for a lot longer than I was in Nepal. This is a state of denial. The use of summary execution as a modus operandi of police operation, as this report documents very clearly, is a very serious allegation. Moreover, if it isn't happening in the valley and it's happening in the Terai, then this is discrimination. And this is an extreme symbol, as C.K. Lau has pointed out. It's a symbol of the very fundamental questions of the credibility of the state claiming to govern all Nepal, not just the hills. It is, if you will, a visible, violent symbol of the depth of discrimination of the Pahari against those in the Terai. And you cannot paint it in any other terms. If it is not happening here, and it is happening against the Terai, and it is happening to very specific sections of the populations, then we are in the territory of discrimination. Very clear. The issues here are so stark, it is difficult to find nuance or new things to say. We have been here before. The obligations of the state under international law are clear. Nepal knows what its obligations are. Commitments are not good enough. The obligation of the state under Nepal's national laws are also very clear. The government is boringly obliged to investigate crimes, yet it fails to do so. It is not a question of legal reform. The police are under a general duty, as the report documents, to investigate crimes under the Police Act and the State Cases Act. They are required to preserve evidence and as soon as possible to investigate and collect evidence in all cases where a complaint, first information report, FIR, has been submitted. And finally, they have the duty to investigate if they learn through any other means or medium that a crime may have been committed. Yet the government has taken no meaningful measures to respond to the concerns. It has not addressed the concerns of this or prior reports of this organisation. It has not responded to the very detailed Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights report in July 2010. It has not responded to the persistent advocacy of non-governmental organisations, in particular the Third Alliance and citizens in Nepal. Its response to the Office of High Commissioner for Human Rights is entirely instructive. It denied the reports. The government has yet to take any action on the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights report. Yet these reports are patently absurd. This denial is patently absurd. I was here during the conflict. Summary execution was used in a manner that it is used during non-conflict periods. It was used both by the police and the military. Nepal developed a rather absurd habit of shooting 80 to 90-year-olds whilst running away. 80 to 90-year-olds do not run away. And the level of violence in this country does not constitute any evidence for crossfire. We are not talking about large-scale war here. We are talking about small skirmishes involving small arms. Crossfire under that circumstances we can look to the entire subcontinent. Crossfire is, we all know what crossfire actually is. Even the government knows what it is when it says crossfire. They are entirely aware of what they are talking about. The persistent impunity for police violence, as CK has pointed out, has a corrosive effect on governance, and it has a corrosive effect on the rule of law institutions. And it is and continues to contribute to a widespread loss of faith in public institutions. That is not an abstract concept. We have seen uprisings in the Terai before, and ceteris paribus, all things remaining equal, discrimination and extreme discrimination will lead to an inevitable end. And once again, you know, history turns round on a pin. We are here in a week after the ICCPR report, and the government suggested to the committee, rather optimistically, that measures had been taken. They haven't. Once again, we are history repeating ourselves. We are in a state of denial, in a state. The CPA promised reforms and was central to peace. Yet 8 years later, we have not taken reforms amongst the police and the security services or the judicial institutions. The problem is that reform remains central to Nepal's peace. The government really has two choices. You can fail to act, and you can protect the institution of the police, and you can find all kinds of excuses for doing nothing. Or you can seek to provide the rule of law and provide security to the general population. What you cannot do is have it both ways. Thank you very much.